Vamos a ver. I spent 30 days in a that MMO and it was amazing. The Bind, sugerido por Onion.
Welcome to Dark Ages, one of the world's first MMORPGs that once thrived on a player-run economy, player-run politics, and even in-game religions.
Los gráficos me suenan.
That was 20 years ago, and every year since then, the population has slowly dropped. There's no logical, financial, or realistic reason to keep Dark Ages running.
Claro.
But the servers are still running, and for $9.95, I am now a registered player on Dark Ages.
Que es de pago y sigue abierto.
30 days to find out if anyone is still playing, and if so, why they're still playing. Okay, we're in, and I'm naked. Okay, looks like we're in some sort of tutorial to start. I'm going to teach you about combat. Be aware that combat is dangerous. Make friends about your same level and adventure in a group. All right, so the game encourages you to make friends. That may be a problem.
No.
Now, before I dropped the cheap price of $10 on this game, I looked on Reddit to see if anyone was talking about it, and there's basically nothing except a few posts mentioning how dead the game is. Not a great sign for finding anyone.
Hace 2 años.
So the website where you download this game is super old school, but I looked through it and saw a community tab. Oh, there's a list for guilds. There has to be people playing this game with this many guilds. All right, I'm done with the tutorial. Time to find some people. There's somebody. Wait, that was so quick. How am I already finding people in this game? Okay, I'm not sure if these are real players or not. They haven't responded in over 5 minutes, and they're blowing nose bubbles. This game has been out for 26 years, so I guess it's fairly unlikely to find anyone in the first town of the game. They're probably somewhere else. So here's the plan for these 30 days. There's 2 things that can happen. Number 1, this game is trash, and there's no real reason for it to be around. So I play 30 days and get out. Or the game turns out to be great, and I do my best to help revive it. The question is, how would I do that? I continued to walk around
No creo que
looking for
puedas,
people,
valiendo 10
but I had no
pavos.
luck. I think I might be alone. Since there's nothing else to do, I figured I would take a look at my quest list, and it said I should pick up a class. Dark Ages is an MMO, so you choose what type of style of play you want. I went with Priest. I figured if I was going to make any friends, I'd have a much better chance if I became a priest and devote myself to keep others alive.
No sé yo si vas a poder jugar así.
Here's somebody.
Está FK.
Hi,
Oh,
Hello, I'm a new player.
welcome. Not many low levels these days.
I think my questions must have been so obviously ignorant that it caught the attention of a different player nearby. Is that a real novice? She's confused how I even found this game. That's how you know this game is dead. It sounds like I might have messed up choosing Priest because Priests apparently don't learn any attack moves, which means I'd have to find another new player to level up
Pero
with.
¿cómo va a hacerse
So I took a
multicuentas en un
shot in the
juego de
dark,
pago?
and I asked this player if they wanted to make a new character with me and level.
Amusing.
I don't know what amusing means, but I think they just laughed at me. But then, it seemed like they might actually be interested. I think I just made my first friend. They spent the next 10 minutes explaining how the game works and provided some info about the classes. They were very knowledgeable and definitely seemed like a veteran, so I asked how long they've been playing. Suddenly, I'm in a group
Eso
with
es
this
triste,
person
eh?
on a fresh account they made. I guess the first goal of Dark Ages is to get level 6, so we got to slaying.
Se ha creado un personaje nuevo y todo para jugar con él.
There's only like 3 people who play how we currently are. 3 people?
Así de triste es el
When you
juego
started playing, was there a lot more
y
players?
así de triste es su vida.
It used to
Va a
be
empezar de cero solo
thousands.
porque ha encontrado
That's-
una persona
doesn't
jugando su
seem like a
jueguito.
lot, but I guess that's more than 3. There's a lot of fun stuff that happened. It's all in the past. So, from my
Se va
understanding
a
so
volver un
far, this
creepypasta
game has
esto.
a player base of roughly 30 to 40 people who aren't even really playing the game. They're mostly just hanging out online. Not only that, everyone who plays is at the maximum level already, and I might be the first person in over a decade who is truly new. So if religion, politics, and economy are clearly not what they used to be, why are people still here? We finished leveling in the crypts, and I was taken on a shopping spree around town to purchase a few items that will help me over the next 30 days. This player was so kind and welcoming, chatty and supportive. I have never seen this level of enthusiasm towards a new player in any other video game. It almost feels fake, but I know it's probably just the love they have for this game pouring through. We talked for a bit longer, and before we parted ways, I asked if we could stay friends and maybe level up again tomorrow. Overall, not a bad first day in Dark Ages, but there's still lots to learn and possibly more people to meet. While I was offline, word got around that a new player had entered Dark Ages. This game is so dead that the fact that I just logged in as a new player is like the biggest news they've heard in a long time. I was introduced to a person named Yuki. Yuki is what the game calls a ranger, basically the police. The ranger's job is to hold players to the terms of service, and they have the power to punish, ban, or delete characters from the game. We talked for a while, and I was taken to a town. I didn't know where I was, but suddenly I got an invite to a guild. I am now a member of Chocolate. After I joined the guild, Yuki brought me to a specific area in the game where apparently everyone goes to hang out. If I was ever going to see somebody online, they would most likely be here. There's a total of 6 people today, and I think 3 of them are the same person. Ooh, 50 million gold? For some reason, everybody is trading me and giving me random items that I'm sure are important and helpful. I just have no idea what they do. I spent a good hour or so here, just hanging out with the other players. On day 3, I returned to the same area and was surprised to see even more players hanging out. Apparently, there are a few people who still play the role-playing aspect of this game. This might be weird to some of you, but role-playing is kind of a big part of some video games, and the number one rule
No tiene otra cosa que
is to
hacer,
never break
por eso están ahí, porque son roleros.
He's new. We need to help him, sis. Later on in the day, I went back to the crypts to slash some enemies and try to level up more when I ran into this guy. He invited me to go deep into the Millith crypts. Apparently, there's some monsters he wants to kill down there to make some money. We ventured down into the crypts together, and when this guy was a kid, he could never get past level 11 of this crypt. And now we're in level 11, but we're taking down the monsters pretty easily.
It's handy having a priest with me. It's got none on us.
We continued deeper, and I think the oxygen levels were decreasing because my adventuring friend started to get philosophical on me.
This isn't even 2025. The world has been a...
We were in these crypts now for over an hour, and now that we're on level 15,
Esos
the
cofres
monsters
no
were
son
getting a lot
buenos.
tougher. We decided this was a good spot to stop. What a day. A couple of days ago, while talking to people in the hangout spot, I was told that getting the title of Master is a huge milestone for the account. My goal by the end of the 30 days is to reach Master level and throw a party just like they did in the old days. I've been instructed on how I can get Master, and there's a lot of training and steps to take, and they said it could be a few weeks, but that party will be worth it. By day 5, I had a routine where I would log in and head straight to the hangout spot. Anyone who is online is most likely in this spot, so it's nice to just head over here and talk to them for a few minutes. Since this game has been around
Viven
for
ahí
ages,
dentro,
one of our conversations led to the question of who is the most well-known player. I asked this question as I remembered old school RuneScape and Zezima. I'm sure Dark Ages probably has a Zezima equivalent. Some famous players are still around for sure. Alright, it sounds like there are a few famous players around, and one called Biomagus. Yuki, the ranger we met on day 2, said Biomagus has her own statue. We took a long walk to a different town, and the statue slowly came into view. Yuki told me their story, the first people to ever master. I think it's so cool that this game puts statues in it as a memoir for the first 5 players to ever reach Master. Biomagus, the statue here on the left, was the first wizard to reach Master level and still plays to this day.
un
And I
isekai
guess
esto.
she's online right now. However, she spends her time sitting in a quiet area of the game and chats with her old guildmates. Probably doesn't want to be disturbed. But one day I might get to meet her. Dark Ages is turning out to have a rich history and a lot more lore and story to it than I could have ever thought. I almost feel like I missed out on something by not having known about this game earlier on. I spent a lot of time with Yuki today, and she showed me some of her favorite spots in Dark Ages. I'll remind you that Yuki is a ranger who has powers a normal player can't have, which includes this jail. Now here is my favorite room, the jail. If I jail someone, they appear in here. and they cannot exit for a period of time. First jail is 24 hours, and it doubles up the more you get. Well, when's the last time you sent someone here?
Hoy.
A couple weeks ago. I was expecting years. That means in 1 year, I sent 98 people into this room. It's kind of crazy to think she sent that many people to jail. The player base is not that large, so to send 98 people to jail in 1 year sounds like it could have ruined the entire player ecosystem. She then told me to make a new character because she has an even cooler power she wanted to show me. You are here because you have been charged with attempting to destroy the imagination that the Dark Ages team and players have painstakingly created. Yuki calls this place Super Jail. Apparently it trolls you a little and you're not even able to leave. Imagine playing this game for 20 years and Yuki sends you here, wiping the last 2 decades of progress in a single moment. Okay, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned 2 things that will happen in these 30 days. We're only 6 days in, and I am confirming right now, Dark Ages is a good game. So that means I am now devoted to bringing this game back to life. The
No
Mastering
puedes, vale
Party
10
is
pavos.
the only idea I have right now, but I've got to think of something else.
¿Lo pongan
This game
gratis?
deserves to have more players. We have reached 1 week on Dark Ages, and I am so happy to have met the people I have met. Everyone is so nice and welcoming, giving gifts and showing me around the world. If you remember, I mentioned that religion is a part of Dark Ages as well. There are a number of gods you can worship.
Pero si
all
ese
with
de ahí
different
es el que me robó la espada
you can
ayer.
freely choose
Hijo
who
de
you want to
puta.
worship, but you do have to select just one of them. I chose to worship Glioka, the god of love and companionship. 2 things I feel I've strongly felt since signing up for this game. Cheesy, I know. In order to join a religion, a high priest from the church has to initiate you. Like, a real player from your specific religion must be online and help you join. A few Glioka followers helped me, and it didn't take long to join, and now that I'm a part of it, the players decided we should hold mass. I was surprised to see so many people come from all corners of this game to join in mass. I learned that there's actually in-game benefits for showing up, like 15% damage buffs for 1 hour after you attend. You can also lose favor if you don't come to the statue and pray often, so that's probably another reason why people are showing up. A few words. We thank thee for the love and the privilege of receiving it, Mother who smiles upon us in our weakness and is always ready to help us and take us in the arms of love. In Glioka's name, Amen.
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 I learned that eventually I could even have high enough status in the church to hold mass as a high priest. There's a whole system involved with that too, all player run. So far, we've made plenty of friends, joined a guild, learned about the history of Dark Ages, joined a church, and met a dude who doesn't
This
believe in
isn't even
time.
2025.
I'd say we've had a successful start to the game, and I'm starting to see why people choose to play even after all these years. But before the 30 days are over, I will become what they call a master. There's still a lot of work to do, and the next couple of days were spent doing that. On day number 9, I spent time in the dojo training my spells. On day 10, 11, 12, and 13, I was still in the dojo training spells. But on the end of day 13, things just got insane. The process required to get master is long and absurd, and even though I had help, I still had no idea what was going on. An example of what I mean. I was introduced to the craziest in-game system I have ever seen in a video game. First, you take these succubus hairs. Yes, you heard that right. You place them in this altar, which looks more like a hollowed out almond, and then you're supposed to kill yourself. You can kill yourself by walking in front of this dude, who for some reason hurts your character if you're nearby him. Great. Now I'm in purgatory.
Okay.
But that's all intended because in this death zone, you walk aimlessly into a bunch of stones until you find the entrance to the lower level. Here, you can trade in your excess experience for HP and mana with the 2 god and devil things. Apparently, this is all required if I want to reach master, and there is no way in hell I would have figured out any of this if I didn't have someone helping me. So yeah, this is just some of the things I've been doing over the last few days. I had a busy couple of days in real life, and there were still a few spells I had to train in the dojo, but by day 19, after spending a week training spells and doing some things that were probably honestly too boring to show you, we have made it to master, or we're at least ready to become a master. Back in the good old days of Dark Ages, it was customary that guilds would hold parties for people who reached master rank. Wanting to bring back that tradition, I will also have a party. I've already sent out a letter to the guild with a time and a date.
I must reveal the truth.
What's happening? What is Never talking about?
The Bindu you all think you know. In truth, he is a spy. a demon at that.
Pero... ¿Qué? Pero...
After the fanatics were over, I turned in what I needed to turn in to become a master wizard.
¿No que era
I
clérigo?
was a priest, but I guess I'm a wizard now. It's hard to explain, but just I'm a priest and a wizard,
Vale.
essentially. Random internet people just showed up to an in-game party to congratulate me on mastering.
¿Y al
I'll
tío de la
say it
izquierda?
again, Dark Ages is a great game. But what do I do now? I still have about 1 week left of membership to Dark Ages, and I would love to find a way to help revive this game. And as I was figuring that out, I was approached by Never, a player who's been around since day one, lurking in the shadows. His intuition is pretty strong, and he confronted me and accused me of being a YouTuber. I lied, but I felt bad about that. So the next day, I told him he was right, and I asked if he wanted to hop into a voice call.
It's insane you picked this game. Because, like, from the outside, it looks insane, I think.
Yeah, like, you just have, there's no guessing what type of game it is. Like, I really had no idea what to expect.
Because, like, one of my biggest complaints is there's not enough players to really engage with some of the systems of, like, the politics and, like, the more deep systems that, like, are just require more people, right? And because there isn't that many players, some people will register, like, 5 accounts a month, right? So that's like $50 a month just there. And they have to do that because there's just not enough players to do what they want to. Does that make sense?
Like, if their
Pero
game, if
amigos,
suddenly there was like 1,000 players online.
¿os parece normal?
Unfortunately, last time it was COVID, the pandemic, to kind of get people coming back. But like, I feel like something else could be the catalyst for that too, right? Like free to play or like, honestly, a very popular video, right?
We chatted for longer, like 2 more hours actually, and by day 30, I knew why people still play Dark Ages. We live in a time where things change so quickly. As millennials, we've experienced the creation of the internet, and I can remember being 10 years old, rushing home after school to hop on my favorite video game. For me, that would be old school RuneScape. I still get chills when I hear some of the music from that game. The internet and PC gaming was so innocent back then. Dark Ages was the same for those few thousand people who played it. And for these last
Estos
30
son los
days,
que luego van a caso
Dark Ages
cerrado,
has
decir,
become a part
Rosita,
of my
¿eres tú?
routine. Every night, I am excited to log in
A mí me
and
daría
hang
miedo
out with the players.
hablar con esta
I
gente.
believe this game was great. And even if the player base doesn't increase, I believe the few remaining players makes it still great.
Si el juego fuera free to play no tendría problema, pero es que hay que pagar el juego. Toma un like. Entonces, la gente que está ahí está pagando un dineral todos los meses para mantener tu cosita. ¿Qué te has perdido un Isekai, yogur? Te has perdido un Isekai. ¿Un MMO? Un MMO súper viejo que siguen jugando como 5 personas. Pero el que vale 10 pavos al mes el juego. Se ha ido el chat un momento, pero creo que ha vuelto. Creo que no se ha perdido ningún mensaje.